Hello and welcome to the very first video tutorial. This is Unit 1, Day 2, the first day of our homework. This video tutorial is going to quickly cover some of the things that you'll be asked to do on pages 1 and 2 of the homework. Now please remember, if you haven't already, we number the pages, page 1, and then the back side of this is page 2. Okay? So it's just the front side and the back side is page 1 and 2. In the future, your pages will be numbered for you. So today what we did in class was we started talking about the basics of the periodic table, things that you learned in 8th grade but has been a little bit rusty. Okay, the big ones for the test to remember are going to be the alkali metals, which have 1 valence electron, the alkaline earth metals, which have 2. Knowing that these are the noble gases, they do not react because they have 18, right? So that means they have 8 valence electrons. And that the halogens, group 7A, have 7 valence electrons. So, this is our unreactive metals, our unreactive nonmetals. These are our most reactive nonmetals, and then over on the opposite side of the periodic table would be our most reactive metals. Okay? Metalloids in the middle, all of these are metals, all of these are nonmetals. Unreactive, most reactive, most reactive. So we come to look at our homework. We did these first few together. I especially want to remind you about number 4, that talks about having 15 protons, 16 neutrons, and 15 electrons. Now, 15 protons means the atomic number is 15. Okay? So what's the atomic number of this element for question 5? Protons is the atomic number, so that answer is going to be 15 right here. And if we look on our periodic table, number 15 is phosphorus. Phosphorus can have more or less neutrons than 16. It can have more or less electrons than 15. But in order to be phosphorus, it has to have 15 protons. If it has 16 protons, it's sulfur. If it has 14 protons, it's silicon. So 15 is phosphorus. All right. If you didn't already, please draw in this bold stair-step line. Okay, this is the transition line. It separates the metals from the nonmetals. Anything that is hugging on to that line is a metalloid except for aluminum. Okay, so that should help you answer these ones. If you're having a hard time with it, please refer back to this periodic table we gave you. If you were absent, you need to get one of these with directions on how to color it. Okay, and I will try to post those online for you right now, so you can find that link here. What we just talked about, if you want to rewind your video, that's going to answer 7 and 8. So looking over at page 2. Page 2, especially these first few questions, 9 through 14, is what absolutely you can expect your test to look like. Multiple choice test on Thursday the 8th for red day and Friday the 9th for blue day. But the group with only 3 valence electrons. So if we take a look at that. Period 3, that's definitely the wrong answers. Periods have nothing to do with valence electrons. Periods would be energy levels. Alright? So we're going to be looking at group 1, 2, or 13. Group 1 has 1 valence electron. Group 2 has 2 valence electrons. Group 3 is also called 3A. So remember, we only do the A's, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A. So group 3A, or group 13, has 3 valence electrons. So there's our answer. Refer to your periodic table for number 10. I think you can answer that one without my help. Number 11 is a great synthesis question. It combines a lot of what we're asking you, which means this is something that we would expect you to be able to do on an exam for sure. An alkali metal and a halogen. So we need to look at each of these: calcium and oxygen, magnesium chlorine, sodium oxygen, potassium chlorine. So calcium, is calcium an alkali metal? Calcium is in family 2, which makes it an alkaline earth metal. So calcium is not an alkali metal, so that can't be it. Also, if we want to look up oxygen, oxygen's here in family 16, so it's not a halogen, because halogens are family 17. So neither of those are possible. Magnesium, we've got here, if I can put that on the camera. Magnesium is also an alkaline earth metal, not an alkali metal. Although chlorine is in family 17. So chlorine is a halogen, so it could have been this one, but it's not, because magnesium is not an alkali metal. Oxygen, we already said over here in family 16, is not a halogen, even though sodium is an alkali metal over here in group 1. but that's still not the right answer. When we come to D, we've got potassium, all right, in family 1. So potassium is an alkali metal. And chlorine, over here in group 17, chlorine is a halogen, so there you go. It's a compound that has an alkali metal and a halogen. For energy levels, that's the period number. Also, there's no such thing as period 14, so that's not true. There's only 7 periods on the periodic table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Groups tell us valence electrons, not energy levels. So it can't be those. There we go. Alright, I really like questions 13 and 14. So let's look at 13 together. Element C, a make-believe element, has an atomic number of 2 and a mass of 5.61, while element W has atomic number 3 and a mass of this. Okay, so what we have is here's the smaller atomic number, here's the bigger atomic number, here's the bigger mass, and here's the smaller mass. So this question is asking you what element would come first on the periodic table. So basically it wants you to figure out how is the periodic table organized, by atomic number, in which case C would come first, or is it organized by atomic mass, in which case this one will come first, small to big. Okay. So remember, Mendeleev originally put it in atomic mass, so Mendeleev would have said element W comes first. But Moseley came back and corrected that, and Moseley said it's the number of protons, the atomic number. So we go 2 before 3. So that means element C would come first. Do that same process for number 14. Okay. When we're looking down here, we did a couple of these top ones in class. If we're looking at period 3, group 14 for number 17, period 3, group 14, we're going to find period 3 right here. We're going to bring it over until we get to group 14. Okay, and we're just reading a graph. That would be silicon. Okay. These bottom few questions then is asking you to know the difference between a metal and nonmetal. So lustrous would be metals because they're shiny. Insulator would be nonmetals or noble gases because they do not conduct electricity or heat. Conductor is metal. Brittle would be nonmetal. Not react is going to be noble gas, and malleable is going to be metal. So they're asking you in group 15 to find a conductor. So in group 15, find a metal. So that's what we're going to do. Group 15 has all kinds of things in it. It has nonmetals, it has metalloids, and it has a metal. So the only possible answer for something that would be a conductor or metallic would be bismuth, Bi. And you can just write Bi, or you can write bismuth. That's fine, as long as you're going capital B, lowercase I. When we're looking at something like number 22, something like let's look at 23, since we are working our way down. Number 23, write a symbol for an element in period 2 that would be malleable. There's more than one right answer. Okay, especially up here, these top ones, there are lots of possible right answers. But for number 2, malleable means a metal. So they're asking you to look at period 2, which is the horizontal row, and find a metal. So period 1 only has hydrogen and helium. There we go. Period 1 has hydrogen and helium. Period 2 would consist of all of these elements, but the only metals would be lithium or beryllium. So you could put either of those for your correct answer, because both of them are in period 2, and both of them are malleable. So I'm just going to go ahead and write both so it's not confusing for you, but you don't have to. Lithium or beryllium. Alright, that's the video tutorial for day 2, the first day of homework. Please make sure you have these done at the beginning of class on Friday the 26th if you're a red day student, or Monday the 29th if you're a blue day student.